Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about overcoming your fear of being rejected by society. And being rejected has always been a problem for humans. Early on in our evolution, rejection would have been absolute, being thrown out of the safety of the village and being left to fend for yourself. But even though nowadays the consequences of being rejected are really as drastic as that, the fear lives on. It can manifest itself in all sorts of ways, relationships and your job for instance, but one of the almost unspoken versions of this fear is being rejected by society. And let's face it, unless you're an out-and-out freak, it's unlikely the whole of society will reject you. But it could be someone declining the option to become your friend or defriending you that sort of triggers things. And at that stage, our minds work overtime and all sorts of conspiracy theories come into play. It doesn't matter whether we think they're valid or not, it's just that there's the possibility of them being there. And that's compounded by the fact that although we've got more friends, in quote marks, than ever before, most of them are virtual friends. Look at the ones you got on Facebook. How long since you last met most of them? And the modern day equivalent of our childhood imaginary friend is really that, except it's other people answering back on Facebook rather than that voice in our head. And the first stage to overcoming your fear of being rejected by society is to do the personal equivalent of a fact check. News channels do these regularly, but there's no reason we can't do the same to ourselves. Start by defining your meaning of society. Is it the chat room that's just gone quiet? Is it someone you know who doesn't answer one of your posts or your messages? Have you got into teenager mode where the whole world is automatically against you because someone somewhere said no once too often? Because you can't easily overcome a fear if it's nebulous. You need to actually define it. It's much easier to tackle it if you can get it to take some kind of form in your mind. So without sending yourself into further distress, work out where your fear's lurking. And chances are it will be in several places. The adult equivalent of those monsters under the bed that vanished when your parents turned the bedroom light on. And weirdly, fear can vanish just as fast, but it's worth figuring out where it is, especially with something as all-encompassing as society, because basically what you need to do is decide what your fear represents, what society means to you, because that will help you to get rid of the fear. Some people find just the discovery process is enough, because once they realise what the issue is, it's actually so small and trivial, it just goes away of its own accord and cowers in the corner somewhere. But if that doesn't work, it's time for stage 2, and incidentally, the chances are your fear will be the composite of lots of smaller things, each of which are contributing to it in some way, and that's perfectly normal. And it's a good idea, it's good news, because it means you can select just one component of your fear and obliterate that probably tiny part. In essence, you're bullying your fear, but in a socially acceptable way, because the fear isn't a real thing, it's just part of your mindset. So go ahead and enjoy dissecting a small component of your fear and throwing it away. And over the next few hours or days, pick on the next weakest parts. You'll be chipping away at your fear and weakening it, and choosing the weakest part of it isn't cowardly, it's just common sense. Because they're the easiest bits to get rid of. Get rid of enough of them, and before you get rid of the whole fear of being rejected by society, your fear will give up and stop bugging you. Try it, and take the opportunity to pierce any conspiracy theories that are nearby. The unanswered message probably just means the other person was away from their screen or just plain missed the message. It's easy to click the X, especially if you've got a bunch of messages. Likewise, anyone with a busy feed may or may not even have noticed your reply, and Facebook is getting ever better at hiding things its software doesn't think are important, so they may not even have seen it. And there's almost certainly a plausible explanation for the things that your mind thought were you being rejected by anyone and everyone. And if you still need help, download a hypnosis track and play it to yourself a few times. It works well and it helps get your mind back to normal fast. Click the link below this video, download the track, listen to it, and you'll be well on your way to overcoming your fear of being rejected by society. It's well worth doing, so click that link now. Thanks for watching.